This one is an absolute sleeper.
It is a Super Bowl winning team. There's no way around that.
I just don't get it. It's just a mess.
Stopping him is literally imperative.
Everything's on the line. If you don't win this game, you're probably out of the playoffs.
Welcome back to the Early Hours podcast. Boys, how is the packing going? The trip to the States is looming. For me, I've managed to throw 3 things in a suitcase, so that's a success, but 2 of them are jerseys. So, I don't know, not the best in my camp. How's everyone else?
Well, put it this way, my suitcase is still under the divan bed and there's a wash on currently, so I'm in an even worse spot.
Rookies, man. Rookies. I've been packed for 2 weeks.
I'll give it a rest.
Yeah, the jackets have been out, the glove. You've all got gloves, I imagine. Going to be cold in Detroit.
I've not got any gloves. That's what the beer jacket's for.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah, well, look, good for you. I'm sure I'll throw something together. Smells, make sure your stuff is dry. You don't want to be travelling with wet clothes. But look, let's touch upon Monday Night Football. Raiders Cowboys 16-33 in Dallas's favour here. A routine win for Dallas, I think. But look, let's not overlook here Trey Tucker getting into the end zone.
Trey Tucker, I mean, you called it last week. It's about time he did something, isn't it? Bless him. But yeah, the Cowboys were way too good. Dak Prescott had a really good game coming off the bye, and George Pickens looked really good. He's now wide receiver 4 in fantasies. Who saw that coming? So yeah,
wow.
Him and CeeDee Lamb combining really well, and yeah, the Raiders just couldn't stop the Cowboys. Looked really good, and the Cowboys have got a really tough run from here on in. But have they got half a chance of a playoff spot? I think the Cowboys fans would say yes, but it's still a long shot.
Cowboys fans are delusional anyway. They'd say yes to anything, even if they were 1-9. Was it Sack City for Geno Smith, as Oliver touted in the last episode?
Definitely. Quinnen Williams, what a sensational debut, I think it's fair to say. 1.5 sacks, was credited on by some broadcasters for having 2, but I think it's fair to say 1.5. 7 total pressures and a 21.4 pass rush win rate, which is just exceptional through the middle lines. So yeah, just delivered on exactly what we said we would do. Trey Tucker balled out. The offensive line is as dross as ever, and Genty just must be just so frustrated. It just doesn't seem to be getting any better, does it? Just gets exploited. I saw one play, they tried to run an outside zone, and the right tackle just completely just stands and watches the man and just literally lets him go around the outside, and they lose. It was a loss of 3 on the play. So I just don't get it. It's just a mess back there. And Gino having some choice words in the press conference afterwards as well, saying that it's not all his fault and everyone should just leave him alone, basically, when it is.
All coming up snake eyes for Vegas. It's a gambling joke for you. Quinnen Williams, though, like you say, balling out. Do you think the Cowboys have won that trade?
Here comes Smales with a pass.
No. I'm not going to have a go at pass. I'll leave this to Oliver. He knows about Michael Parsons. But something is funny is, who got the other half a sack to Williams' half? 1.5. It was Kenny Clark. Yeah. Honestly, Genuinely, against the rush, they have formed a really good team there. It's hard to say that they're a better team without Michael Parsons, but I think it's still TBC. But Jerry's actually, for the stick that he got initially, probably undeserved, to be fair to him.
Moving ahead to the games this weekend then, Sunday night. Look, I think this could be potentially the game of the week. Well, the 8-2 Colts, they're visiting the 5-5 Chiefs. This Kansas side potentially out of the playoffs as it stands.
Who saw it coming? Where
two who saw this coming this episode, and we're only 2 games in.
5-5? Are they 5-5?
Chiefs 5-5.
Wow. I mean, that is just monumental, not just for their season now, but for the sort of past, I think it's fair to say 5 or 6 seasons of Chiefs Kingdom. It's just been dominance after dominance after dominance. And yeah, they're in a real do or die situation, if you ask me, for their season here. This could be, everything's on the line. If you don't win this game, you're probably out of the playoffs.
What's crazy is the Chiefs are still starting as betting favourites just because they are the Kansas City Chiefs. So, if you're that way inclined, then it might be time to lump on the Colts. We know that the Chiefs are going to have to stop the run. Jonathan Taylor, and stopping him is literally imperative. And then Pat Mahomes needs to find Rashee Rice, which he didn't manage to do last week. And Travis Kelce's been a top 3 tight end again. So you need to get them going and try and stop JT. And they've got a good chance, but for me, it's got to be the Colts going to 9-2, which is amazing.
Yeah, the Colts offense, very aggressive on third down, so that really stood out to me when I was looking at the preview of the game, and they actually convert around 44.7% of their third downs, so they're top 10. But you partner that against a Chiefs defense that's actually one of the stingiest on third downs. They don't like to allow any conversions, so I think if they're going to win the game, it will literally come down to how efficient can JT and Dan Jones be on those third down markers. Other than that, I don't see them winning it.
I do not see how the Chiefs are betting favourites here. They've not been consistent at all. Obviously, a lot of that is due to suspensions and injuries. Obviously, like you say, Travis Kelce pretty much Mr. Reliable for that Chiefs side this season. But on the flip side of the ball, you cannot ignore Jonathan Taylor, Dan Jones, Pittman Jr. It is a Super Bowl winning team. There's no way around that. And if you're not saying the Colts are betting favourites for this, Arrowhead, anything can happen. But even with the Chiefs being the name, the Colts' record this season, they are balling out.
Wait to see as well, Rice versus Sauce. That's a really interesting matchup. And Ward, they've come up against such good teams this year, and they've generally come out on top from the stats perspective. So it's going to be a super interesting one. But yeah, like I said, do or die for the Chiefs.
Another game that could be do or die. It's the 4-6 Vikings at the 6-3-1 Packers. Look, it's always a big game in the NFC North, but I think it's probably a must-win game more for the Packers than it is for the Vikings.
Yeah, for me, this is a tale of two halves. And what I mean by that is the Green Bay Packers not necessarily been that efficient in the first half of football this year, just averaged 4.3 points. Can you believe that in first halves this season? So it really is
I can believe that actually, sorry, because we don't take the points. We get within field goal range and we go, yeah, you know what? It's only the first half. Let's chance it. Let's go on fourth down. Let's take the 3 points for a change. That'd be nice.
Well, the floor needs to do something about it, and we can't look. I was going to come on to say just before you came in, then we have gone on to turn that around in the second half. We're averaging around 17 points in the second half, so we have shown we can do it. We can win games. I think we just need to start strong. And if you invite pressure, if you invite opportunities, we know Kevin O'Connell can play a lot of play action. That suits JJ McCarthy and Justin Jefferson downfield. It's going to be, you're going to give them an opportunity to build momentum. And as it often is the case in these divisional matchups, you do not want to give them any sniff of an opportunity to win in the cold weather. Two advantages. We have Micah Parsons. They have JJ McCarthy. I think that matchup for me is going to be horrific for McCarthy. Parsons with a 21% pressure rate, and JJ McCarthy, he struggles under pressure on more than half of his dropbacks. So if you partner them two together, it's not a good look. And then the fact that we're playing at Lambeau, that's huge, right? That is a massive home advantage. JJ is going to be on a silent count. Hopefully we see Jefferson griddying his way down the tunnel and back out of the car park, because I don't want to see it.
I woke up to a trade this morning. You were trying to ship him off with Justin Herbert, who's also on a buy. I looked at that and went, honestly, I could get better people off the waivers than this.
Got to do what you got to do, brother. I'm out those playoffs, I've got to fight to the death. But yeah, it's going to be a big game. There's no two ways about it. The first of three we need to win.
Yeah, we've got a really long, NFC. It's like a back-to-back NFC North fixture list for us. So we need to start strong there for sure. Keeping within that NFC North theme, we've got the Steelers at the Bears. The 7-3 Bears, let's not forget. They are balling out for sure. But look, this is Aaron Rodgers going back to, an old foe here with the Steelers. He is questionable to potentially play. It will be a last-minute decision with his wrist, but I think this could be quite a decent matchup. You've seen the Steelers are capable of some pretty top-tier performances, especially in the likes of Dublin. But, the Bears are pretty inspired.
I think this could be a close game, depending if Aaron Rodgers is fit or not. Obviously, that brings a new dimension, but it's at Soldier Field. We know Chicago can be loud, so I think using the home advantage, the Bears are the rightful favourites, but don't be surprised to see the Steelers nick it.
Yeah, we're yet to see that sort of real golden ticket game from the Bears and the Steelers, it's fair to say. I don't think anyone has particularly ran away with a game this year. A lot of low scorers, but both teams on sort of, strong winning streaks against NFC teams particularly, and like we said, the Bears winning a lot late in the quarter. So yeah, I think it could go either way. Don't expect it to set the world alight in terms of a scoreline. That's all I would say.
I think that game as well is pretty similar. Got 7-3 Bears, 6-4 Steelers. Those records are pretty equal in those regards, but there will be some miserable faces come Sunday if the Bears end up going 8-3. I'm going to be miserable. We're going to be together. I think we'll be necking a few pints to drown the sorrows there for sure. Then we've got the Eagles at the Cowboys. Where does this one come down to? On one end, you've got obviously Javonte Williams and Barkley with the run game, or will it be a wide receiver showdown, Pickens, Lamb going head-to-head with Brown and Smith?
I think you'll agree, won't you, Matt? It's probably the line of scrimmage, if you ask me.
Neither.
Yeah. I think, obviously, we spoke about it earlier. If the Cowboys can keep Barkley quiet, make Jalen Hurts throw the ball, it's anyone's game. Look, I think the Dallas Cowboys and Dak are actually better at throwing the ball, but Eagles for me still. But yeah, all depends on the line of scrimmage, like Oliver says.
Well, the run defence is really good for the Eagles, generally. So you'd like to think they can shut down Javonte Williams. That then forces Dak to sling it. Pickens on form, so that leans towards it being a successful passing game. So both teams, again, we speak about third downs a lot, and actually that's because it's been a general theme throughout the season. Teams actually being very efficient, and I don't know whether that's possibly a trend we can look at in the off-season. Is that something where teams are starting to really push on these third downs and put themselves in a fourth and favourable situation to go for it? And we are seeing a lot of teams do that as well. So, yeah, I think it probably comes down to Barkley, and like I said, the line of scrimmage. I think the Eagles they are the fourth best red zone touchdown team in the league. So it's just a case of, can they get in a position where they can push that tush?
And then we've got two massive games of note, more so because the early hours will be at both of these fixtures. We've got the Buccaneers at the Rams. The Rams 8-2. Matt Stafford balling out. Actually, no, he's on an MVP run of form this season. 2,557 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That is crazy. That is mental.
I cannot wait for this game. I honestly think this low-key could be the best game of the entire time we're out there, and surprising when we think we're going to Levi Stadium and we're CMC against his old team. We've got a Packers game to preview on Thanksgiving. This one is an absolute sleeper, in my opinion. I just think two offenses, both so efficient going at it. Stafford with his veteran arm, Kyron Williams grinding the ground and just helping power them forward, which he's been doing all season, to be fair. And they're a team that averages 24 points per game this season. That is crazy how efficient they are. And Tay Adams, just need I say more, looking like is Packers form and definitely getting himself back in the Hall of Fame conversation. From the defensive standpoint for the Rams, they managed to hold teams to around 95 rushing yards per game, but don't sleep on Sean Tucker. He was actually a surprise player last game for the Bucs, and he could cause them a real problem in sort of 21 personnel, and that two-back look could be a real issue for the Rams against that defense, and potentially just give McVay something more to consider when they're playing a team that's without Bucky Irving, that's without Evans still. It's just they're gonna have to shake it up.
That's a definitive thing you've just said. Do you think we will not see Bucky Irving?
No, I don't think we will. I really don't. And I think, like I said, the Sean Tucker show could be the real opportunity. They're going to have to involve, for me, they're going to have to make use of Cade Otton a lot here. Blocking game, block and release, seeing him on quick routes, zigs, drags, anything just to get the ball moving. And that's what they're good at. The Bucs are great at that. They look, don't expect Sean Tucker to go into the receiving game. He is a hearty back, don't get me wrong. But I think this one could be electric on both sides of the ball. I'm so excited to see it.
Well, that's the thing. We've got the stars on the pitch as well as off it. It's Hollywood, for Christ's sake. And SoFi itself, it's a crazy stadium. It's one of the best stadiums I've ever been to. I'm really excited to go back there. But look, let's open it up to the state of California and Los Angeles itself. What's the biggest thing that you guys are looking forward to when we're out there?
It's a bit of the unknown for Oliver now. Hopefully the weather's nice enough. Venice Beach, Santa Monica Beach.
Better than it was snowing last night.
Well, exactly. The Griffith Observatory. Obviously, we've got the Rose Bowl on Saturday, which obviously we're excited for. So just going, seeing the sights, drinking the coffee, drinking the beer, some nice food.
Glad you said beer.
Yeah, also, I had one of the best pastrami sandwiches of my life in an Irish bar. It was like this most unassuming place. The food out there, MSG, is in full force in the States. And yeah, we are going to chow down as well as get on the keg. Really excited. But in the middle of getting in on the keg, we also obviously jaunting out to San Francisco after the SoFi game. We've got the 49ers. They're hosting the Carolina Panthers. CMC versus his old side. Brock Purdy back under centre. Smells, you must be buzzing.
Really excited. I think when we first booked the trip, obviously we've got Packers Lions, and we kind of think, who knows, maybe pre-season the Lions were the favourites, and we looked at this and go, the 49ers will whitewash the Panthers. Well, guess what? They're 6-5, and Bryce Young found a hell of a lot of farm last time out against the Falcons, who, let's be fair, are pretty poor, but he threw for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the 49ers are a team who've had 12 sacks all season, so we rank last on getting to the quarterback. So if we give him too much time to find McMillan, then we could be in trouble. Same as if they just want to run Rico Dowdle all day. We're Fred Warnerless. It could be could be trouble.
Yeah, I'm loving the term you've just coined, Fred Warnerless. Loving that.
No one likes it.
No, well, when we booked the trip, like you were saying, I think the headline here was obviously potentially CMC versus Chuba Hubbard, but that's completely flipped the script now that Dowdle's in play. I think, pardon the pun, I think the 49ers could have be in for a run for their money with Dowdle coming at you.
Absolutely. He's proved himself to be a top back, and now Chuba's back. He's sitting on the bench most of the time, and obviously who saw that coming? So yeah, really impressed with the Panthers.
That's the third one of the episode.
We got there, ladies and gents. Like and subscribe.
One last point from me. Great work, boys. One last point from me was just around tight ends as well. They do not rank well against tight ends, the Panthers. So they're coming up against, arguably tight end 1, tight end 2 in the league on his day. It's going to be a bad day if they let George Kittle get open.
And the same question for San Francisco. I actually don't particularly know what it's known for, apart from being very hilly. What are you excited for when we're in that city?
Everyone keeps talking about the clam chowder. I'm not a clam fan. However, I've been told that the original Cheesecake Factory is in San Francisco, and I've heard the burgers are very good. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's just, who knows?
They've got good bridges. Anyone like going and seeing a bridge? Or
I don't mind a bridge. There is also a street called Lombard Street. So, I mean, you're nearly there with Lombardi, but I mean, that is a stretch.
For all the watchers, Alcatraz as well, which is probably the number one thing. It just
that would
depends
be huge.
On time, doesn't it?
I'm a big Mob of the Dead enjoyer, actually, when it comes to Call of Duty Zombies. I know where all the box spawns are and how to build the planes. So I think
it's gonna go beer, Lombard Street photo, and then just keg.
More beer. That's the one. Well, look, that's going to be a really good game. That is actually Monday Night Football. We normally wait for Monday to preview that, but because we're out there, I don't think we'll get a Monday episode out. But you will be getting a state special just a little later on in the week. But to round out week 12, we're actually going to talk about the first game that's going to happen. That's tonight. It's the Bills at the Texans. Look, Josh Allen coming off of a heater last time out, 6 touchdowns, over 300 yards. But don't count out this Texans side. They're 5-5 at the moment, and they're really pushing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just whether Davis Mills can do it. There's a lot of pressure on that man's back. He's back under centre after CJ Stroud confirmed is still out under concussion protocol. So it's a big task, isn't it? Look, they've got Nico Collins, they've got Woody Marks, they've got Nick Chubb, they've got weapons. There's no two ways about it. But when you're coming up against a team with a quarterback that just scored 6 touchdowns in various different weird and wonderful ways, and they've got a running back that, granted, hasn't been massively in form in recent weeks, but had a hell of a start to the season. I just think it's a tall order, if you ask me. Joey Bosa as well, can I just make a point on, has looked phenomenal. I don't think anybody's talking anywhere near enough about how good Joey Bosa's been in recent weeks. And if he gets his hands on Davis Mills, it really is a question of how many times you can say Davis Mills in one episode. But if he gets his hands on Davis Mills, I think it's going to be a real bad night, if you ask me.
Like you say, it's the Davis Mills show. To be fair, he's been really good. He played well when he came in for Stroud against the Broncos, and then they've won 2 on the bounce against a decent Jags side, and then obviously a poor Titans side. But he's played well. Obviously, this week is a little bit different in his first probably real test. So I've got the Bills, but I don't think Davis Mills means that the Texans can't be competitive.
Okay, look, listen, I think Davis Mills has got the minerals. I really do. Give me the Texans. I think it comes down to special teams, of all things. Texans special teams are really good, especially at blocking PATs. I think that could knock the Bills off their stride. We've seen the Bills crash out a few times this season already. They're going to Houston. I think give me the Texans.
Oh, it's a big call, Goody. I've got to go Buffalo. I just think you can't bet against him, can you? And I say him, it's not even a side. It's just, can Josh Allen turn up and do the business?
Yeah, I know they've got Josh Allen, but they haven't got Davis Mills. That's
I knew we'd sneak one more in.
Boys, we fly tomorrow. Look, I hope everybody's got their entertainment for the 11-hour flight. By my calculations, you can probably watch draft day about 6 times before you land in LAX, so that's probably what I'm going to be doing. You can all follow our journeys at Early Hours NFL on socials. We can't wait to bring you a load of on-the-ground content for there. Probably no Monday episode just because we'll be touching base, and obviously we've got Monday Night Football with the Panthers and the 49ers, so I don't think we'll be able to get an episode out for that. But watch out for a on-the-ground podcast between week 12 and 13 where we recap this week, so we'll see you then.